Welcome back to another CAD/CAM tutorial. In this tutorial, we are going to create the roller support assembly in SolidWorks. I have divided this tutorial into 3 different parts. The first part, which is this video, looks at modeling the individual components that are needed to create the roller support. In the part list, we have the base, the bracket, the roller, the shaft, the bush, and the screw. And then in the second part of this tutorial, which will come right after this, we create the assembly of the roller support by adding mates and relationships between the parts to form this. Then finally, in the third part of this tutorial, we create the exploded view and animate it, as we can see here. So there are drawings and drafts for each part, as we can see here. We have threads and then colors and everything for each part. So these are going to serve as references that will guide us to model each part, create the final assembly, and also the exploded view. So this is a very simple tutorial, but it looks complex when you just look at it like that. Don't worry, I'll take you to all of them, and take note that there are links in the description to each of the videos or parts of this tutorial. And also this tutorial, I have grouped the videos into a playlist, so you can go and check it out on my channel, and also check out the playlist of other assemblies as well on my channel. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, and turn on post notification so that you get an alert or notification when I upload the second part and third part of this tutorial. And also when I upload any video at all, you can get an alert to watch it first. Make sure to share the video as well to your friends and colleagues so that they can also watch it. And without further ado, let's start. First, I'll create a folder in the desktop, and I'll call the folder Roller Support Assembly. Then we open SolidWorks. In this pop-up window, click on a new part, and that should take us to the SolidWorks 3D modeling workspace. So let's start with the first part, the base. So this base is a very simple rectangular part. We are going to create sketches, and then we extrude. Then we create 4 holes, add some fillets, and we add a thread and change the color to blue. So we extrude on the front plane. We have a rectangle of length 120 millimeters and width 10 millimeters. Exit 72, and we make it symmetric about a mid plane. So the end condition mid plane. Okay. Then we draw this rectangle on top of the block. It has a length of 50 and a width of 3 millimeters. So again, extruded boss base on this face. A rectangle from this point to this point, a length of 50 and a width of 3 millimeters. We want to make sure that the center of this rectangle aligns with the center of the block. So just locate any midpoint here, hold the shift key, click on it, and then click on the origin and make vertical. Sketch is fully defined, so exit. Reverse for it to come inside, and then the full length of extrusion should be the full length here, 72. So okay, We proceed with this cut here. So extruded cut on this face. You need an inclined line, and then you have a vertical center line. So we dimension this inclined line and mirror onto the other side, and then add any dimensions we want. So the angle between the inclined line and the horizontal is 45, and the vertical dimension is 3 millimeters. So mirror entities. Okay, first we create a vertical center line for construction from this point to this point, which will be in the middle of the block. So mirror entities, this, and then mirror about this center line. Make sure you check copy. Okay. And we add horizontal lines to close out the shape. The horizontal distance here is 56. And now sketch is fully defined. So exit sketch. And then we are cutting throughout the length of the block. So set the end condition to through all. Okay. Next up, we add the 4 holes. So hole wizard. Let's first set the positions on the centers of the holes. So click on this face, and then place the 4 points here. Now we can add relations. So these 2 holes are vertically aligned, these 2 are vertically aligned, and the top holes are horizontally aligned. These 2 are also horizontally aligned. So hold down the shift key, click on these 2 holes, make vertical. Same for this 2 set of holes. And then make these 2 horizontal, and make these 2 as well horizontal. We want a vertical center line here, so for construction from this point to this point to be in the middle of the block. The distance between the 2 centers here is 96. This is 48. So you want to make them symmetric about the center line. So hold the shift key, click on the 2 points, make symmetric. Then we'll have a horizontal center line as well from this point to this point. Again, hold down the shift key, click on the 2 points, and then the center line here, make symmetric. The horizontal distance is 96. The vertical distance is 48. Now you come back to the type, and then you set the dimensions for the holes. So the holes have a diameter of 10 millimeters through all. So a simple hole in the legacy hole, dimension of 10, end condition through all. Okay. Then we have threads of size 12 by 2 millimeters. So under the hole wizard, we have this thread. We are going to create just one thread over here and then pattern to the other sides. So the start point of the thread here, and then the end point up to selection and over here. For perfect threads at the end, as we do always, we add offsets of, let's say, 2 millimeters to each side. So let's change it to 3, and that will be okay. Since these are holes that you are creating the threads for, you're going to use the metric tap. The dimension is 12 by 2 millimeters. So under these specifications, there is no 12 by 2 millimeters, so we go with 12 by 1.5. Okay. So for every thread here, we change the pitch to 1.5. Then we want to pattern the thread onto the other side. So linear pattern. Direction, the first direction should be in this direction. And then the second should be in this direction. For the first one, it's pointing in this direction, so reverse direction for it to come inside. And then this distance will be 96, as we saw. And then this distance will be 48. The features to pattern, just click on this thread, or better still, drop this arrow down and then click on the thread. So make sure you keep the counts up to 2 for each of the directions, and this is what we have. So okay, then we add fillet of radius 12 to the edges. So constant size fillet of radius 12, click on one edge, and then click on the others as well. Finally, change the color to blue, and that will be it. You can also change the background to white as well and save the parts. So we'll go into the desktop, the folder that we created for the roller support assembly, and then this is the first part, the base, and save it. We move on to the next part, the bracket. So create a new part file, and then for this bracket, we create this shape, we sketch it, and then extrude in this direction. So extruded boss base on the right plane. With the line tool, we draw a horizontal line here, vertical, to create the shape. Now let's dimension. The full length here is 35. This is 5. The width is 10, and this is 4. Okay, so click on this line and pull it down. And then this is 4 millimeters. Sketch is fully defined, so extruded boss base. And then we extrude via the mid plane at distance of 72. Next, we add the 2 holes here of diameters 10 millimeters. So hole wizard, the centers should be on this face. Place the 2 points here. And make sure we horizontally align them. So hold down the shift key, click on the 2 points, make horizontal. We need a vertical center line here. And then hold down the shift key, click on the 2 points, and then the center line, make symmetric. The distance between the 2 points is 48. And then the distance from this point or this center of the hole to this face here is 23. So that will be here. And the sketch is fully defined. So come to the type. Again, a legacy hole, a simple hole. Diameter of 10 millimeters through all. Okay. Then we add fillet of radius 12 to the edges. Okay. Now we create 2 threads inside the holes. So we create one and then part into the other side. The start location here. And then the end location here. Again, we add offsets for perfect threads at the end. A metric tab because it is a hole, and then the thread size is 12 by 2 millimeters. So we use the same 12 by 1.5 cut thread. Okay. And then we pattern this thread onto the other side. So the direction should be in this direction. A distance of 48. Okay. Next, we add this feature on top here. So you're going to create a sketch on this particular face here. So create a sketch on this face. We need first a circle. The diameter of the circle should be 30 since the radius is 15. And then you make sure the circle is in the center of the block at a distance of 50 from this face here. Hold the shift key, click on these 2 points, make vertical. Now the sketch is fully defined. So now what we'll do is we'll add vertical lines to close out the shape. So click on this line, make it vertical, and then hold the shift key, click on the line in the circle, make tangent. Again, do this for the other one, make tangent. Okay, so there is a tangent constraint already here, no need to add it. We make this line vertical instead, and the sketch is fully defined. And we have a hole of diameter 12 through, so we add it straightforward. Exit sketch. Make sure the sketch is selected, and then extruded boss base. First off, you are going to extrude this backwards by a distance of 13 minus 5. So selected contours, click on this area, reverse it, and the distance is 13 minus 5. Merge results. Okay. Now come to this sketch here, again extruded boss base. Now we click on this area here and we extrude by a distance of 13, but we have to do some calculations. So first make sure it goes inside, but it should come out by 5 millimeters. So start at an offset of 5 millimeters, and the full length is 13. And merge result. Okay, so this is what we want. And we add fillets of radius 15 to this edge as well. So a constant size fillet, a symmetric one of radius 15, this edge, and then this edge. Okay. Finally, we add a rib on this back here. The vertical distance on the rib is 40. So we draw this diagonal and add the rib. So locate this rib feature. Sketch the rib on the right plane. So the diagonal from this point to this point, and then the vertical distance for the diagonal is 40 millimeters. Exit sketch, and the thickness of the rib is 10 millimeters. So symmetric, select this, both sides, and 10 millimeters. Okay. So this is what we want. Change the color to green, and then you save it as the bracket. First, make the background white, and then edit the appearance to green. Now save the part. This is the second part, the bracket. Move on to the next part, the ruler. This ruler is a circular feature, so we are going to use a revolve boss base. So first, create a sketch on the front plane. We need horizontal center lines for construction here, and then make it a midpoint line. Since the full distance here is 40, let's keep it within scope. So let's say 60 millimeters. That would be reasonable. And what we are going to do is we are going to sketch half, so the green part on top here, and then revolve around the horizontal axis. So we draw this part and then mirror onto the other side. We need a vertical center line as well. So click on it and make it vertical. This distance is 8, this is 26, and this is 40. And for the vertical distances, since we sketched this half, we are going to use half of the diameters here. So the diameter of the hole here is 24. This is 30. Or since we have a center line here, you can just make them the full distance here. For this, we can dimension half, but when you bring your cursor outside, this is the full dimension. So 24, and then this will be 30. This is 40, and this is 60. This 70 and this 76. Sketch is fully defined, so we are going to mirror onto the other side. So mirror entities. Click on all the lines you want to mirror. Copy and then mirror about the vertical center line here. Okay. Then we use horizontal lines to join the two to close out the shape. Now revolve boss base, and the system will automatically use this as the center line. Okay, so it used this as center line, so click on it, delete it, and then use this one as the center line. 360 degrees and a blind condition. Okay. Change the color to salmon. So this right here is the salmon color. Save the parts. This is the third one, the roller. Move on to the next one, the shaft, which is also a circular feature. So you're going to use the revolve boss base as well. So a new part, create a sketch on the front plane. Again, we need a horizontal center line. Since the full length of the shaft is 80, we keep the length reasonably at 100 millimeters. And then you sketch half of the profile. The vertical distances, this is 12, this is 18. This will also be 12. Now hold the shift key, click on these two lines, collinear. Again, you make them equal. And then you're going to make sure that the center of this line is vertically aligned with the origin. So hold the shift key, click on this center and the origin, make vertical. This length is 50 and the full length here is 80. From this to this should be 80 millimeters. Sketch is fully defined. You can see this dimension is 15. So when you click on it, this is 15. There is no need to add any dimensions. Now, revolve boss base. The system will use this line as the revolution axis. So click on yes, 360 degrees. Okay. Next, you create a drilled hole inside here. So hole wizard, a legacy hole and a type of simple drilled. The diameter of the hole is 6 millimeters and the depth is 45. The drill angle is 120. For the depth, change the end condition to blind and set the value to 45. Drill angle 120, and then make the depth up to the shoulder. Click on positions and then on this face, place the center of the hole on this origin. Okay. Then we have a hole here as well through the diameter of the shaft. So extruded cuts on the top plane. We need a circle of diameter 6 millimeters. We make sure that the circle is in the middle of the shaft. So hold the shift key, click on the center and the origin. Make horizontal. The distance from this end to the center of the hole is 25. Exit, and then you set the end condition to through or both so that it can cut in both directions. Okay. I want a section view through the block or the shaft, and this is what we have. Very similar to what we have here. Then we add chamfers of parameter 1 millimeters to these edges. So a distance chamfer and a symmetric one of parameter 1 millimeter to this edge and this edge. Okay. Change the color to yellow. Okay. And save the part. Here's the fourth part, the shaft. Move on to the next one, the bush, which is also a round figure. So we use the revolve boss base. So create a new parts file. Then we create a sketch on the front plane. We need a horizontal center line. And then we sketch half of the profile. Take note, this is a hole here, so we just sketch the top part and revolve around the horizontal axis. The full diameter is 30 and this is 24. The hole here has a diameter of 18. This length is 21, this is 16. Sketch is fully defined, so revolve boss base. And the system will use this line as the center line. Okay. Change the background and then set the color to a cyan color. So this is the cyan color. Save the part. This is the fourth part, the bush. Move on to the next part, which will be the last part. So the new part. So this is a circular head. Extruded boss base to add material on the front plane. You need a circle. The diameter of the circle is 16 and the thickness of the head is 6. Exit sketch. Okay. We have a fillet of radius 1. So a constant size fillet of radius 1 on this edge. Okay. Then we have a hexagonal cut inside. So extruded cut on this face. Draw a hexagon from this center. Make this line horizontal. And then the distance between these two is 8 millimeters. Sketch is fully defined, so exit. Cut inside by 3 millimeters. Okay. Next, you create the shaft of diameter 12 millimeters. And then the distance of the shaft will be 26 minus 6. The extruded bore is based on this face, and then the shaft (26 minus 6). Okay. On the shaft, there will be threads of size 10 by 2 millimeters. The thread, and the start point of the thread will be on this edge. The end condition up to next, and then select this edge as well. So for the start, we'll add an offset. And then since this is a shaft, go with the metric die. Thread size is 10 by 2. So we'll go with 10 by 1.5. Cut thread and OK. Change the color to medium gray. So make the background white first, and then the color, you can change it to medium gray. So this will be okay for the medium gray. And save it. So this will be the safe part. A screw. So yeah, that is the end of the first part of this tutorial. So you have created all the parts we need for the roller support assembly, from the base to the brackets to the roller, shaft, bush, and then the screw. In the next tutorial, which comes right after this, I'm going to show you how to add mates and relations in order to form the final assembly, as we can see here. I'll see you in the next tutorial. Safe.